is a story of by far probably the most disturbing and crazy situations I've ever seen unfold in front of my face when I was a kid living in the bad areas of Cleveland, Ohio. Now, I used to go to a school called Thomas Jefferson Junior High. Now, Thomas Jefferson Junior High was known for all of their ratchet, rowdy, and violent students that they had going there, but by far one of the worst kids there was Smoke. This kid at 16 years old weighed 230 pounds, was over 6 feet tall, and benched about 350 freaking pounds. This dude was so big that I remember my first days seeing him, I'm asking other kids, is that dude a teacher? What does this dude teach? Me just saying his name to some of the other kids in the school would freak the people around me out, and I never really understood why until I kind of got to know the guy a little bit better. Turns out this dude Smoke, he ran a gang in the school called the Socials. When I say everyone in this school feared this guy, I mean every freaking body. You would think this kid was connected to the Russian mafia, the type of treatment that he received at this freaking school because of how much they were scared of him. This dude didn't go to any of his classes. He stayed in PE all day and lifted weights. Why didn't any of the teachers tell him to go to his actual classes? Because they too, just like everyone else, was freaking mortified of this guy. I remember one day a teacher came to him during a lunchtime that wasn't his, of course, that he couldn't be in the cafeteria at that time and he needed to come back when it was his actual period to have lunch. Man, I don't know how the argument started, but it ended the way all arguments with Smoke Dog ended, with the dude who decided to talk to him knocked out and laying face first on the freaking floor with blood coming out of his mouth and nose. Smoke didn't play any fucking games, man. This dude gave no shits. Kids, women, adults, freaking teachers, elderly people. If you got in his face or said something to him he didn't like, he was knocking you the fuck out. I've seen him do it countless of freaking times. The thing that made Smoke scariest to me was the fact that there would be no type of buildup. You wouldn't know what was coming. I've seen this guy have conversations with people like they were his best friends, and then the dude just bah and just knock the guy out clean and just walk off like it was cool. Needless to say, this guy was freaking crazy, but by far one of the craziest situations I've seen unfold in front of me revolving around Smoke was a situation that happened with him and his girlfriend. Now, this guy was dating one of the prettiest Puerto Rican females in the entire school. This chick was so bad, I ain't even gonna lie, dude. I was trying to kick it with this chick even though I knew that basically was a death sentence handed down by hand from Smoke himself. Now, we had just gotten let out of school. Everyone used to walk down the same exact block. Once we would get to Scranton, everyone would break off into their own directions. We're gonna call his girlfriend Shelly. One day, we had all gotten out of school. I was friends enough with Shelly as to where me and her, we would walk the same way. On this day in particular, me, Shelly, and about 3 or 4 other kids were walking down the block towards Scranton Street, where everyone would usually always break off at. These 3 girls run up on Shelly. Now, one of the girls was freaking huge. This chick looked like Precious, and she was ugly as all living shit, and she was burly. Not only that, but she was also one of the biggest and toughest female bullies in the school. She was known for getting into tons of shit. Now, on this day in question, she had her 2 road dogs with her. I didn't know their names, but we're gonna call them her sisters, right? These girls are skinny, ratchet type chicks. Weave, wanna be cute. They hung around with the big girl because it meant nobody messed with them, and they got to see a lot of shit that the big girl would get herself into because the big girl was always getting into fights with people. This chick was known for fighting even dudes. She would just get in your face and yell and point just centimeters away from your face, just annoying as hell, but she was also willing to throw down. Like, this girl and her two sisters just run up on Shelly out of nowhere and they corner her in front of the gate that's fencing off somebody's yard. It's grossly apparent that these three girls are about to jump Shelly, Smoke's girlfriend. Smoke comes up out of nowhere with very minimal body language, not very much animation whatsoever. His hands are down and he's looking very calm and collected. He steps up to the big fat girl. He's like, so, you know, what's going on, man? You know, I see you guys are, you know, getting in my girlfriend's face, man. What the fuck is the problem? The big fat chick's main weapon in her repertoire was always getting in their faces. This chick always did that to intimidate the people that would ever say anything back to her for acting the way she acted. So she gets up in Smoke's face and she starts pointing and yelling and screaming, fuck you, nigga, what the fuck you gonna do? We fight niggas too. I don't give a fuck who you are, what you... Man, oh my fucking God. You guys remember when I told y'all earlier that this dude never gave any build-up, any type of sign or prerequisite when he was gonna do what he was gonna do? Man, I kid you not when I say, if you would have blinked, you would have fucking missed it. Smoke, just out of nowhere, with no type of warning, turns around and grabs a tree branch out of the guy's fenced yard, turns back around. This tree branch, if you could even call it that, this miniature freaking oak tree, just thick and fat and freaking huge, turns around. You would think that this dude was swinging for a home run. How hard this dude smashed this freaking tree branch into that female's skull. Bah! This dude hit her so hard and so fast with that tree branch, the chick who got hit didn't even know she was hit for like a second and a half. It's like when you watch an action movie and the guy gets shot in the heart. He's still looking around like, wait, what's going on? And then he just falls like, oh wait, it just happened that fast and that unexpectedly. That's what happened to this chick when she got hit with that freaking tree branch. Cause she is standing there just befuddled, puzzled, with a look on her face like, wait, like where's all this debris coming from? Because Smoke hit her so hard with this huge, thick tree branch that it shattered into a million freaking pieces. Just, I remember getting goosebumps because the sound was so excruciatingly distinct. If anyone's ever seen someone up close and personal get hit with something really hard in the skull, the sound is freaky because not only is it flesh, blood, but skull. I guess when this girl's pain receptors finally fired up and she felt it, man, I'll never forget seeing this girl's knees buckle and her falling backwards off the freaking sidewalk into the freaking street. And when this chick fell, this chick just starts screaming and crying profusely while grabbing at her freaking scalp where she got hit with the stick at. She's rolling around on the ground, just back and forth, just crying and freaking screeching and grabbing at her freaking scalp, man. Now, when the big girl had gotten into Smoke's face, a huge crowd had already formed around Smoke and the big fat girl. Because you go to Thomas Jefferson, you're used to seeing fights. Whenever arguing or screaming or yelling, we already know what's coming. A crowd instantly ensues. On one hand, a girl just got nearly murdered in front of us. So a lot of people are furious. Me, I'm not about that life. I don't want none of what Smoke gives out. I've seen too many examples. They're starting to get riled up. They're starting to get ready to try to fight Smoke. Smoke takes 5 steps back and just squares up on the whole crowd. He very rarely got pissed off. But when he did, Smoke had a way of saying fuck that would almost completely diffuse his opponent. Who the fuck wanted him? I don't give a fuck! And when he yelled out fuck, which apparently let the crowd know how serious he was about the situation, a lot of people, I'm talking dudes, females, adults, they just sank down and they stopped. They're just like, oh, I shit you not. He diffused the whole crowd with that shit. The fat girl's sisters, they too can feel the force of the words of what Smoke just said. But also behind them, their sister is laying on the ground just scraping at her scalp like there's something in her head, rolling around back and forth in the street, howling in freaking pain, man. And apparently that was enough to push her sisters to be willing to fight Smoke, because they're still trying to run up on Smoke. And Smoke is backing up. He's got his freaking guard, man. He's got a really funny guard. He's waving his hands back and forth, basically showing him like, look, hey, if you run up, man, you're getting laid down regardless. One of the girls runs up, Smoke sticks her, knocks her clean out. Now she too is face first on the freaking street, just bleeding out of her freaking mouth and nose, man. This chick is done. The third sister, apparently seeing what just happened, she resorts to standing back and yelling shit at Smoke. You know, not really being willing to go toe-to-toe with him, but still not wanting to let him get away with just doing her two sisters like that. With that being said, freaking 4 police cars come swarming in. Boop, boop, boop. Smoke just instantly lets everything go and goes right back into calm mode. He may have been crazy, but he wasn't stupid enough to try to fight the police or do anything stupid enough to get himself shot. Smoke got into a lot of shit with the police, man. Every week, this dude was going to jail for something, and I don't exaggerate when I say that, man. You know, he puts his hands up, the cops, they come over there. Once they get him in the handcuffs and they get him restrained, Smoke just starts letting off again. Man, fuck that shit. I'll lay all you motherfuckers down. I fight niggas and bitches. I don't give a fuck. Everybody can fucking get it. Now, apparently, after you have your cuffs on you and the police have you restrained, you can yell whatever the fuck you want because they know not to shoot you since you're already restrained. They put him in the cop car. He's restrained. He's still in there talking shit. The ambulance pulls up. And mind you, Fat Girl is still laying on the ground, scraping at her freaking scalp, just screaming and crying profusely. When the paramedics get out of the ambulance, they go up to her and they're trying to pick her up, but this girl, it's like when they picked her up, she couldn't feel anyone touch her. Like the only thing she could feel was the pain on her freaking head. Of course, the paramedics seeing this, they go to her head and try to find out where the wound is. I'll never forget this shit because a crowd is formed around her while this is happening. I just so happen to be in front. Man, when they parted this chick's hair to see the place where he hit her with that freaking tree trunk, man, you would think this chick had a fully matured apple under her skull, the size of this freaking lump. And in the middle of it was a bean-sized hole, just gushing blood out of the top of the freaking lump, man. I'm just sitting there like, God, Jesus. They took the sister into the freaking paramedics, man. The sister ended up getting a broken jaw, and that's nowhere near the last story that I have with Smoke. This dude was freaking crazy, man. He ran the whole school, man. The dude sold drugs and did a lot of other horrific shit as to where I didn't even know the dude was into. I just thought the dude was a school bully. Of course, I'm gonna tell those stories. That's gonna be on a later day. Hope you guys enjoyed the story. With that, my name is blastphamousHD. If you guys enjoy these type of stories, make sure to go and check out my channel, blastphamousHD Gaming. I have tons of them. I've seen so much crazy crap. I have stories for freaking days. I don't know how often I'm gonna be posting stories on GameFaceStudios, but every single Sunday, religiously, I post a brand new BHD Storytime on my channel every Sunday. Come rain, hail, sleet, snow, or all the hours I usually have to work at my job, the story still gets uploaded. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the channel. Make sure to subscribe to GameFaceStudios, and BHD out. Twisms.